10 treatment rounds for the WBC International Super Middleweight Championship.
Well, here we go, we're underway. Luka Plantic of Croatia in the blue and white shorts with the white boots, and Martin Bulasio of Argentina in the black shorts with the white band. Plantic did pretty well in the amateurs, so good that he was an Olympian in Tokyo 2020, made it to the round of 16, and certainly knows his way round. And like I said when he made his ring walk, he's got one motion and he tends to go forward, forward, and you guessed it, forward.
Yeah, Plantic's taken no time to just get straight in there, was he? Straight in the middle of that ring, straight on the jab, pushing that Bulasio back. And has just continued to do so far in this first minute.
Just immediately getting stuck in, and you will hear the thuds of those punches as they land. And he has stopped some really tough fighters in his 10 fights. As I said, one of those was Jack Cullen. Oh, just off balance was Plantic. That most certainly wasn't a punch, because it was half a metre away from us. Oh, a solid right hand and a lead hook by Luka Plantic. And Bulasio just finds himself constantly on the back foot. Doesn't look like he's going to try and mix it up either, does it, Raven? No.
Bulasio just sort of sticking to the ropes, kind of going from rope to rope at the moment. Plantic just keeping that steady pressure on, not really opening up just yet, but letting Bulasio know that he's there, you know. Good little flurry there in the corner. Bulasio guard still nice and high, nothing really getting through.
No, and I'd say what, the shorts of Bulasio are a tiny bit on the high side. Luka Plantic generally just going to the head at the moment. And as I say that, he throws one into the body and followed by another one, like he's just heard me. And now he's got his man exactly where he wants him, in the corner. And he will try and keep him there and punish him.
Got caught a little bit as he was trying to load up a bit on those shots, but you can see he's trying to throw with a bit of intent there, wasn't he, Plantic?
He was, and I got to say that Bulasio looked like he was panicking a little bit there as he was throwing a jab, like I could almost hear him in his head saying, "Get away from me. I don't quite like you near me."
Yeah, no, interesting opening round there. Obviously, Plantic very much just coming forward, like you say, is what he does, goes forward, more forward. Bulasio seeming to be happy just going around the ring on the ropes, leaning back, avoiding some of those big shots there from Plantic, but I feel like when Plantic's letting his hands go, he's really letting them go with a lot of oomph and some venom. He wants to try and hurt his opponent, doesn't he?
He does, he really does. And just looking back at the replay here, it's just, you can see the might, the aggression that he sticks into every single shot. He just doesn't have a day off, does he, with each one of these punches?
No, that's
just
it,
those jabs have got power, haven't they?
You see there, Bulasio is just sort of reading it, you know, he's sort of showing what he's doing a little bit, where he's loading up those shots.
The referee, Mark Lyson, just giving the Bulasio corner a bit of a talking to, because they were taking far too long to get out of the ring, in his opinion.
Bulasio there coming out, trying to put it on Plantic, letting his hands go.
He is, and it was a good job that left arm was nice and tight to his fate, because that right hand that Plantic just threw had some weight behind it. solid shots by the man from Croatia, just sinking those in, body and head and body. Just switches to the southpaw stance.
Another shot just sank into the body there, Bulasio, but Bulassio's not, you know, just sitting on the ropes and covering up. He's throwing back when that timing's there. So Plantic needs to be wary of those shots coming back.
He does, and he just got caught with an uppercut, which came after about 5 or 6 little jabs in the corner there, and it just seems that that's exactly what Plantic is trying to do. He's just trying to get him cornered or get him on the ropes so he can let his hands go and give him a hard night, like he is now. And he's going to really start unleashing these, but gives him the opportunity to get out of it. It's almost like he don't want the round to end in
Imagine,
that particular time. He's having too much fun.
He's doing well when he's getting his opponent on the ropes, but I think he's aiming a lot for the head, so I wonder if he's just trying to set that up to really bring that guard up of his opponent and then bring it down to the body.
Demolish that body, yeah. And it's the last minute of this second round. This one's scheduled for 10. Bulasio constantly on the back foot for every moment of this fight so far, because he's got a man who only knows one direction. Bulasio landed a jab to the body there, didn't he?
Good body jab there, yeah, sounded solid. But it just gives Plantic that ammo to sort of fire.
It does.
Big shots, doesn't it?
Bulasio, when he comes out of those exchanges, well, I say exchanges lightly because it's kind of more Plantic just going for it. He's got his chin in the air like he has there, hasn't he?
Yeah, his chin is quite high, but he's tucking that guard in, but he's using it almost to lean back. But Plantic there, yeah, just steady, I feel, with his aggression and attack.
Yeah,
you know,
quite happy with where he's at, isn't he?
Yeah, not...
He's like, I know I've been here before, this is what I do to people.
Yeah, not just going hell for leather with it, as much as he's thrown very heavy shots, you know, from the sounds of it here, but it's steady heavy shots and constantly there, and that can really wear an opponent down.
And there is a replay of, yeah, look, that was what we were talking about earlier on, about those 5 or 6 little uppercuts. And because Bulasio had just stood there, he was just open to those shots. Like he is there, it's just a dangerous place to be in with a fighter like him, just sat there or stood there on the ropes with your hands up. It's not the place to be.
Even when your hands are up, with the weight of those shots, you don't want to be taking too many of them on the gloves. You want to be getting out of the way.
They're rattling, aren't they, those ones? They feel a few of those in his boots.
Yeah.
And here we go, round 3. Nice, calm approach to this opening round from both fighters.
Plantic's just trying to swing in that overhand right instead of setting it up, but landing that one there. Nice stiff jab from Plantic.
Solid shots there on the ropes once again. Every time that he gets his man there, he lets a few of them go.
Yeah, Bulasio doing well to roll out and get off the ropes.
Plantic's got his man in the corner once again as he just lets those 2 left hands go to the body and then one upstairs. Bulasio throwing a couple of taps back, but nothing which is going to unnerve.
Yeah, not got a lot of space to really get a decent shot in there from Plantic.
Nice left hook there by Plantic. The 1-2 set it up and then he let it go. I don't know what Bulasio is trying to achieve with those little taps to the head. It's not effective.
Yeah, it's not deterring Plantic, but I think it's just anything to kind of offset him a little bit. You see blood there coming out from Bulasio's nose.
Yeah, it's hardly surprising. He's taken some punishment in the first 2.5 rounds.
For that constant pressure there from Plantic, just no backward step, must be very draining for Bulasio. He's constantly got to move his leg, move around, getting out of the way. But he is reading that big swinging overhand right from Plantic.
He is. He's starting to suss that, isn't he?
Yeah.
I guess when you've got a style like Plantic where you walk forwards, people suss that out pretty quickly. They know you ain't going to just start boxing on the back foot. And when you just throw like power shot after power shot, especially the ones which were working, they start to suss those out.
That's it. And even though a lot of those shots from Plantic have been very much power shots, it doesn't look like it's zapping much of his energy, does it? He still looks very fresh. I know it's still only the 3rd round, but power shots are tiring.
They use a lot of energy, but Bulasio come back with a good 1-2 there.
Yeah, nice shots there. And again, landing that last backhand, and Plantic didn't like that.
No, he didn't. It was kind of half over the belt, wasn't it? He wasn't a massive fan of that. He gave him a bit of the evils. And he does look a bit of a scary man, actually, when he's...
Yeah, well, when you've got someone like that, just not taking that backward step, constantly coming forward, it can't be a nice sight at you, can it?
Absolutely not. But here we go. Here's a bit of the action, which, I tell you what, I could tell you this was from the round before the round before that, because it's pretty much been the same sort of stuff, hasn't it? Yeah,
it has. I feel like Bulasio through the rounds has been a little bit more open to throwing these shots now. You've seen there, it's caught Plantic a bit more that round, but I think that's also where Plantic has just been on that constant aggression and pressure. He's realising he's got to throw back to deter him in any sort of way.
He has. He's got to do more, isn't he? Simple as that.
Yeah.
Round 4. Bulasio out, just popping that jab out. Tries to throw that lead hook under the right elbow, but it gets caught with a counter short right hand. Oh, I'll tell you what, that one never fud, didn't it?
Yeah. As much as it was on the gloves of Bulasio, you could just hear it. It still wouldn't have been
really
nice.
Hear that.
Yeah.
And there's a stinging one to the body, followed by a couple upstairs, as Plantic just takes a short breath through his nose and then gets straight back to business again, as he's got him just in the corner. Oh, blimey, we've just seen him take a step back. Can you believe it?
Sticking his tongue out there as well, Plantic, before he goes on this flurry. He's having a lot of fun.
He certainly is having a lot of fun. Bulasio looks like he's open to those hooks as he just drops his hands a bit too much, and there it is again, and we couldn't be closer to the action.
A good few body shots in there from Bulasio, actually.
He's certainly coming back with a little bit more in this round, and there we go again. Look, that right uppercut followed up with a lead hook to the body. Really swinging his Plantic.
Yeah, he's putting a lot into those shots, isn't he? Nice left hook in there from Plantic on Bulasio.
And Plantic has got him in his favourite corner, because this is the corner which he's consistently got him in. And I can tell you that because I've got blood on my nice grey suit, haven't I, Raven?
That's it. You didn't want that to happen, did you, there, Darren? And now it's happened. What are you going to do?
You jinxed it.
Oh, don't blame me. You were getting too involved there in the corner.
I was. I can't help myself. But here he comes again with 50 seconds to go in the 4th round. Yet again in the same corner as he just pops that jab out. But Bulasio is the one who's trying to come forward a little bit more. He's getting beaten to it more often than not, but he's trying.
Nice backhand there from Bulasio. Not deterring Plantic. He's coming straight back, and that jab from Plantic is landing really well on that bloody nose.
God, Nice right hand, got straight through the middle of the guard of Bulasio. Plantic just stands there in the middle of the ring, stares at his man and thinks, I don't even know what he's thinking. He's just looking at him like, why aren't you going down?
Yeah, I think he's a bit puzzled by it, 'cause he has thrown a lot of big shots in there, especially in that round. And Bulasio, as much as his face is looking a lot more marked up now, he's taken it pretty well.
He is, and you can see from the footage here that he's come back in this round more than he has in any of the previous rounds. So maybe he's just a bit of a slow start, and we're going to see a bit more action as the rounds go by. Remember, this one is scheduled for 10. It's for the WBC International Super Middleweight title. And some people will be blasé about the titles, but they do earn you rankings, which can create opportunities. And that's exactly what these guys will be looking for.
Straight back on that jab there from Luka Plantic.
Bulasio walked straight into a jab there, didn't he? Hit him square on the nose.
Yeah, just kind of looks very wary at the moment.
And I am pretty confident Bulasio's nose is broken. Plantic's trying some new stuff, I feel. He's going back at occasions and then picking his shots and throwing a few more uppercuts and screw shots, where before he was just kind of walking forward and just trying to take his head off with 1-2s, really, was he? Then the odd kind of big looping hook.
Yeah, he may have realised that, you know, throwing like that, Bulasio's not going down. So let's work a bit more basic, set it up, get those shots to open up and then take advantage and start opening up. Just like
That's
there.
It. Adapt and overcome, which you've spoken about on a couple of occasions this evening. The two of them stand in the centre of the ring and just stare at each other again and try and beat one another to the jab. That nose of Martin Bulasio is pouring.
Yeah, they're struggling to get that to stop, aren't they? As soon as that jab goes from Plantic, it's landing him square on the nose
almost every time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Plantic knows that as he sinks another straight right hand in, followed by another one which didn't quite land cleanly.
Nice head movement there from Luka Plantic. It's interesting where he goes from orthodox to southpaw sometimes. It's very square, doesn't he, in front of his opponent?
He does. This is good work and a bit of hunger from Plantic, but Bulasio trying to wrap him up. Mark Lyson gets involved and Bulasio comes back with at least a couple of shots before Plantic is back in that southpaw stance and jabbing his head off. We've seen a few switch hitters tonight. Oh. Well, that's going to... Not sure if that is going to be a count. He's going to be a count from referee Mark Lyson. I know he got caught, but I'm not sure if it was initially a knockdown.
I feel like the rope sort of held him up, didn't it? But
he did. For me, it looked like he lost his footing.
Yeah,
but
I'd have to see it back.
We might be able to. We might be able to see that. But your gut feeling in terms of score so far, I feel like Plantic is probably
well ahead.
Well ahead, yeah, but not as ahead in terms of the later rounds, even though he's won them, if that makes sense. Yeah. Because Bulasio's done a lot better work, but still not enough to win the rounds.
Yeah,
would you agree with that?
I'd agree. Yeah, I think the last few rounds, Bulasio has definitely been landing a lot more, throwing back in more flurries, actually looking a bit more comfortable on those ropes as Plantic is coming forward, but maybe just taking a bit too much before he then throws back.
Well, they tried to stop that nose from bleeding in that Bulasio corner, but I don't think they're going to have too much luck.
Great overhand right there.
Really good overhand right. He's digging his feet in, his Plantic, as he throws those straight shots, and that jab has got some power behind it, and it kind of stuns Bulasio, and then he hits him with a right hand straight after. Over and over again, he's getting through that guard.
I'd like to see Plantic just to come back down to the body after, you know, he's got that head, he's pushing back, that body's open while Bulasio is on those ropes.
He is, and for me, he's staying in that corner for far too long and then finally gets himself out of there. I never know why he wants to, well, whether he wants to or not, stay there for as long as he does, because he's glutting for punishment. Oh, good 1-2 there from Plantic.
Every time Bulasio gets caught with that shot, though, he's still firing back, isn't he?
He is. He's certainly not given up. By no means. Look, here he comes again.
Bulasio on the front foot there.
Yeah, you've got to admire it, haven't you? Because he's been hit with everything in the kitchen sink and he still comes forward. Plantic's got him in the same place which he's had him over and over again in this bout.
Yeah, just smothered that work a little bit there, trying to set him up for a big overhand left from that southpaw position, but just going over Bulasio's shoulder. And now back on the ropes for Bulasio, where Plantic has had most of this fight.
Surely Bulasio can't just stay on these ropes for 10 rounds, and survive it and get all the way to the 10th and final bell. I mean, we'll soon find out, but I mean, look at that nose now. Looks like he's been beaten up badly, and the amount of blows which he's taken to the head.
Yeah, he's taken a lot of punishment there from Luka Plantic. You know, he's thrown a lot of power shots already. Sort of loads up almost with nearly every shot, doesn't he, Plantic? And
he does, and he just looking even more relaxed or even more relaxed than he has for the previous rounds and all the previous moments, as he's now literally got his hands by his knees. And I can't quite pick up what sort of emotions and feelings and what the mindset is of Luka Plantic. He doesn't look like he's having a great time in there, even though he's clearly winning. Maybe it's just because he can't get him out of there.
I'd say almost poker-faced or stone-faced. Doesn't need to show anything in there. I think, you know, he's focused. Maybe that's maybe how I would put it.
Taking it off round by round.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think you can tell, obviously, by the intent and all the punches that Luka Plantic is throwing, he does want to get his opponent out there. And maybe there's a bit of frustration that Bulasio is still standing and still there after everything that he's thrown at him already.
I'll tell you what, Martin Bulasio is one tough man, isn't he?
Yeah,
seriously tough.
Very much, and a lot
too
of
tough
heart.
for his own good, probably.
Potentially, yes.
But if it gets too much, there's one thing being a tough fighter, but what you don't want is a tough corner. You need the right people to pull you out when enough is enough. But Bulasio is still coming back with shots of his own. His legs have still got life in them. And he's moving around.
And there's a title on the line, isn't it? You want to go and give out as much as you can. You go out on your shield as well, don't you?
You do. But he's eating jabs, eating them, one after another.
Yes. Lovely sort of textbook jab again, isn't it, from Luka Plantic? We've had a few of those boxes tonight with that textbook jab, haven't we?
We have. The jab has been a very nice thing to see, thrown well in all sorts of different styles, and Plantic throws his with some oomph. He really chucks his shoulder behind it.
And again, another theme from the night is that control, that not rushing in from a lot of these very skilled fighters with good amateur experience as well, and they're really showing that maturity, even though they may not have had a lot of fights yet.
It's true. Bulasio just trying to get that left hook off, which is blocked by the right hand of Plantic, but he got caught there with a looked like a lead hook, but shakes his head to say no, that was a slip.
Yeah, it was definitely a stiff shot there. Landed well, may have caught him slightly off balance, did that, but yeah, good shot from Plantic there. But didn't jump on it, which I sort of expected him to.
I kind of expected him to do exactly the same thing. Fair play to Bulasio, still there, still on his toes. Bravely, all stupidly, it's up to you, got his hands down by his waist. I know where my hands would be.
Well, there you go, he listened to you. They're back up now.
He's only human. And 45 seconds to go of this 7th round.
Not a lot coming back from Bulasio in this round like there was in the previous.
Feeling the pace, isn't he?
Definitely.
Or maybe not even the pace, maybe just the continuous shots, because it's been a bit like target practice, this.
Just trying to move around and cover up, isn't he?
Oh. The gum shields come out. The sponsorship Toblerone's nearly tripped Bulasio up. Mark Lyson will just walk him to his corner. No, he won't.
Put it straight back in, didn't he, Bulasio, with the gum shield?
He's done that before. I don't know if anyone's ever tried to put a gum shield in with a boxing glove, but it's one of the hardest things in the world.
Yeah, he managed pretty well. Normally, you know, fighters like to get that little bit of a chance,
yeah, that's
especially
true, yeah.
if you're under fire a little bit. Gives you a little bit of a breather when that gum shield comes out, doesn't it?
And sometimes people do it on purpose, don't they? And they never ever admit it.
You can see it.
And I've seen people have points taken away for that kind of thing. You know, they do it a couple of times in a round. It's the oldest trick in the book, isn't it?
Maybe, you know, after you get 2-3 times, come on, you should have a properly fitting gum shield in, shouldn't you?
Yeah, give it a rest. But here is Luka Plantic unleashing those straight shots. And going back to what you said earlier, Raven, is you're talking about when he throws that hook and then his feet go shoulder width apart and he's very square on, isn't he?
Yeah, it's almost like where he's transitioning from that orthodox stance into the southpaw. He might catch himself midway and almost square. You know, Bulasio hasn't really cottoned on to it.
No, he hasn't, because he could land a right big right hand or whatever it is, couldn't he? And the second time of this contest, Mark Lyson, the referee, has to give the corner team a tap to say hurry up and get out. Good jab there from Bulasio, but receives one straight back a second later.
Both exchanging jabs there. Bulasio has been finding that left hook to the body fairly well through the fight. Throws it nicely, but not affecting Plantic too much, is it?
It's not, but here I was about to say, here we find Bulasio cornered again, but he didn't. He had some movement within him then. Yeah,
sort of check hooked off, didn't he?
He did.
Which is maybe what he should have tried to do from the start. Keep
the
that movement going.
Yeah.
But then that's also a tiring way of fighting, isn't it? Because you're constantly on the move when that opponent is just non-stop coming forward at you. But better from Bulasio, although eating a stiff jab there from Plantic.
Goodness knows how many jabs he's eaten from Plantic tonight, Bulasio. And the nose and the mouth and the forehead, it's been constant.
Nice little bit of creeping in there with the feet from Plantic, which I like, that little offset.
He set that right hook up well. A couple of double jabs beforehand. I remember a boxing coach saying to me, what comes after a jab? And the answer is everything. And that's what Plantic does well, is he almost throws everything and anything off of that jab, and sometimes comes out of it as well to set himself up again. Yeah,
mixes it up well, doesn't he? Although I would say I'd like to see more body work from Plantic. He throws very well up high to the head and
hunting a lot, isn't he?
Yeah, but could probably mix it going up and down a bit more in those, especially when he's had his opponent on those ropes and opened up that body.
I'll tell you what I'm surprised that when he's switching that stance, that Bulasio hasn't cracked him with one there, because the amount of opportunities he's had to do it, and he just, whether he hasn't picked up on it or whether he's not sharp enough, I'm not sure.
Yeah, because if you get it right, that you could catch him while he's off balance trying to transition through the stances. Good backhand there from Bulasio.
It was, and the second that he landed it, one came straight back the other direction. That was a stiff jab from Luka Plantic. We're going to the last few seconds. And I'd say the theme of that round for me, Raven, was literally just who's going to win the exchange of the jab. Constantly, wasn't it? I know Plantic did his thing where he throws other stuff afterwards, whether that's a straight right hand or a hook, but it was constantly the battle of the jab. Yeah, definitely. A bit more from Bulasio this round, from the last round as well, which was good to see. He's still got that fight there. He's still trying to give it to Plantic, if you like. You see towards the end there, for like Luka Plantic just wanting Bulasio to come at him, sort of open him up, because when Bulacio's not punching, he's just staying very high guard, isn't he? And it's hard to find those really clean shots coming through. So I think Plantic's trying to just get him to open up and actually start the exchange towards the end of that last round. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, because I don't think he's started many exchanges out of the hundreds and hundreds which we've seen already, has he? No, he might start off the round with a few and then goes back into that staying along the ropes. Well, the penultimate round here, round 9 of 10. That body shot from Bulasio again. Blood pouring from the nose continuously of Martin Bulasio of Argentina, who does look to be slowing a little bit now. His work is starting to get a bit sloppier, and that's understandable, because the punishment which he's taken, the energy which he's used, and those continuous shots, whether they're head or body, would have taken a lot out of him, and the sharpness is gone. Still bouncing around on his toes though, isn't he? Bulasio? He is, you've got to give that to him. It's been constant, hasn't it? Yeah. In some way, shape or form, he hasn't been flat-footed. Plantic unleashing a barrage of shots once again. And every time you think, oh, he might finish him here, he doesn't. Bulasio just finds a way out, doesn't he? He does, and he came back with a left hook there, and he's just got a new leash of life. He needs to be careful he doesn't walk straight into one of those big straight right hands of Plantic, who just looks at him and uses both hands to signal to say, come on, let's give them what they're here for. And the gum shield has come out again. I don't think that's intentional. No, I don't think it is. There was a good flurry between the two, and they were both invested in that as well, wanting to throw punches and both wanting to push that pace and get involved. Exactly, it will definitely frustrate Plantic, because he'll feel like he was getting the better of that exchange, and he would have liked the momentum to build. The headhunting certainly continues. Yeah, I don't know if that's maybe a part of, you know, in the amateurs. It's not, you don't see a lot of amateurs throwing loads of body shots, do you? You don't. Because they're not necessarily super scoring to the judges in the amateurs. The headshots are a lot more eye-catching and noticeable, and a lot of the time the amateur judges don't score those body shots. So maybe that's
something that Luka Plantic wants to look at in terms of that pro style compared to the amateur style.
It's a good observation. Because probably for every 20 headshots, he probably throws a body shot. And Plantic will be very keen to continue that knockout run which he's been on. Remember, he's beaten 9 of his 10 opponents by stoppage. Only one has heard that final bell. But that is the clapper for the final 10 seconds of this, the 9th round. And I guess the question is, Raven, do you think he can get him out of there? I don't.
Last round, from what I've seen so far, Martin Bulasio is taking everything so far that Luka Plantic can throw at him, right? Yeah, he looks fairly hurt, but he's weathered the storm. He's got through each one and given it back as well. You know, he's had some success through each round. So it looks very unlikely to me that Luka Plantic is going to be able to do it unless he manages to get that flurry off without Bulasio escaping round when he does it or holding.
Does he go for broke 3 minutes, just come out and absolutely go for it? There's risk associated with that though, isn't it?
It is, because he's still getting, Bulasio has still been successful, and in those exchanges he's still been landing shots on Plantic too.
Mark Lyson has enjoyed this one, and so have those on the balcony and around us at ringside here at York Hall. And there was me at the start saying this man's got one motion, forward, 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 and after about 4 rounds he started to decide go backwards. He gets caught with a right hand there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did Plantic. Yeah. Referee Mark Lyson just reminding Martin Bulasio that he needs to hit with his knuckles, not with the palm of his hand or the inside of his glove. Bulasio's doing some pretty good work here.
Yeah, he's really given it some in this last round, isn't he, Bulasio? He's
disrupting the rhythm a lot.
Like you said, seen that different in Luka Plantic in terms of having to take that step back, and actually I think he's enjoyed working a little bit off the ropes at times as well when he has. But it's been a good fight from both so far.
Bulasio worked out how to escape and certainly isn't sitting on the ropes like he was in the earlier part of the fight. I'm sure Plantic would love him to sit there as we go into the last half of the final round. I'm pretty certain this one is going to go to the scorecards.
Plantic again just throwing that jab, trying to set something up. See his eyes, it looks like he's looking at the body, almost, you know, fainting with his eyes almost, it looks like, or just waiting there for Bulasio to engage, isn't he?
He is, and just looking at the facial expressions of Plantic, he just kind of looks at Bulasio, looks at his body, looks at his head, sniffs, and he's just trying to work him out, and I don't think he's been able to suss him. I mean, don't get it twisted, he's won every single round, but when I say suss him, I think in terms of how to get him out of there and how he still stood there with the same blood pouring out of his nose like it was 5 or 6 rounds ago, still bouncing on those feet, still not flat-footed and throwing shots back every so often, and some of them are still getting through. Yeah,
that's it. He's really given it a good go when he has, hasn't he? And like I say, been successful with those flurries at Luka Plantic as well, has Martin Bulasio. And last 10 seconds here in this final round.
And neither of them are going for it like it is the last 10 seconds. It's just kind of continuing like it has for the rest of the fight. Plantic knows that, or he's confident that he's won that. I'm confident that he's won that.
Yeah.
There's 3 people ringside who have made that decision. Bulasio looks happy to have heard that final bell, and I can't remember if I said it or if I just thought it, but I was thinking to myself 2 or 3 rounds in, I cannot see him making it to the 10th and final round, and he's proved me wrong.
No, I agree. At the start of this fight, I was thinking it wasn't going to go the distance, and you know, Martin Bulasio, very tough guy who withstood everything that was thrown at him. And it's that thing, you know, the South Americans, they're all so tough, aren't they? They very rarely get stopped, do they?
It's ridiculous, yeah. They are some of the toughest fighters in the world. Well, remember that fighter you fought at the O2 Arena? Yeah. I called your fight.
Very much like this one, you know, everything that he done, and she's
exactly.
still there.
No matter what.
Anyone else wouldn't still be in front of you, would they?
Yeah, I think I remember saying on commentary that you, like, a similar sort of thing, that you must be looking at her thinking, are you going to go or not? Because
yeah,
you just didn't stop hitting her.
Like, okay, after a couple rounds, like, oh, I'll slow down a little bit and do something else, because she's still there. And I feel like that's a little bit of like what Luka Plantic's done here as well, you know. After a few rounds, he realised that, okay, I'm not just going to blow him out in these crazy, you know, heavy shots. So I'll change it up a little bit. I'll step back and have a look and do something a little bit different, go back on the ropes.
I agree with that. And when you get these fighters come over like we've got with Martin Bulasio from Argentina, he has had 2 fights in the UK or 3 fights in the UK before this. But what's also good when you get these people come over is you start looking and you think, ooh, you'd be quite good against X, or you'd be quite good against Y. And he's one of those tough, durable fighters who'd be great for some of our, you know, really good kind of British, European
like
level fighters who are going through the ranks.
Yeah.
You'd learn a lot from him, wouldn't you?
It's like how I see a Baluta. You know,
yeah, that's a good.
He's another sort of fighter like that. That it is a great test to see if you're getting past those and getting to those world levels. If you can get past this person.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Well, it looks like we're very close to getting these scorecards. All the right people are making their way to the ring, and the man for the WBC just goes past us with the green belt, the famous green belt. We think we know who's got it, but we'll see who has. And Mark Lyson just trying to get both fighters to come together. And we're ready to get the announcement from our MC, Mark Burtis.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for both the boxers. Gave them all. Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds, we now go to the scorecard. We have a unanimous decision. Judge Jorge Marini scores the contest 99 to 90. Judge Steve Mertz 99 to 90. Judge Kieran McCann 100 to 89. The winner in the blue corner from Solin, Croatia, Luka. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for running Brian and Gareth Hawkins, FPL, Bulasio.
Well, Luka